Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
What's that, Stranger Things?
Yeah,
Honestly,
but
I'm
that's
not.
just because I'm in sweats today. It's a stay-at-home kind of day.
You're a fan of the show?
Huh?
You're a fan of the show?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
have
know.
been, and I was very worried that I would not no longer be because Game of Thrones was like that. They really, really ruined it, and then I hated it after and didn't keep my fandom. But
I don't
with
know.
this one, I was not disappointed. Huh?
I've never been a fan of the show, but I've seen all the episodes, so I gotta finish it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I
No,
know.
I mean, this show was made for me. I am a geek. I am a nerd. I am an outcast. It was perfect.
I don't know. For some reason, it didn't resonate with me. Now, Cobra Kai is my show. That resonates with me. Everything about that show resonated with me. I saw
I,
myself
d-
in
I
all of those.
haven't I haven't seen any of it, but I just never even thought like
No.
I never even considered putting it on. That's how little interest I have in that.
Cobra Kai is it for me. If you're talking about shows on Netflix about kids, Cobra Kai is the one that speaks to me.
It's
Everything.
about kids.
Yeah, it's like Karate Kid, but 25 years later, and it's their kids now.
Yeah, that would bore me probably.
What? I
Yeah.
think that's one of the best shows produced by Netflix, Cobra Kai. Anybody anybody who watches this will tell you Cobra Kai, the best ever.
Oh yeah, but I've never met a single person that watches it. Let's start there.
No, there's you just never talked about it. You never talk to
And
people.
that's another reason. Like
Oh, I'm
we
telling you,
talk about our shit all the time because it's that good.
Cobra Kai is that good. I'm telling you, it's really that good. And
I
take a
don't
time.
know.
Okay, watch the first season. Just watch the first season.
Yeah.
Just try to
All
watch the.
right.
Just try.
When I have time to start something new, I will.
Yes, watch the first season. How was your New Year's, man? Everything good?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we all just recovered from the flu, so we're low energy at home and the kids are too young to stay up. I barely made it to New Year's, but I did. I made it. Made
Good.
it to midnight. We're boring old people now. But no, I watched the season finale because it came out, so it was a very good way to end a year, I think. Kind of closing off that chapter of Stranger Things, and so
For some reason, I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna finish it because I've seen all the episodes and I've just been like, all right, I guess I just gotta finish it. But it's not really for me. But I'll finish it. Anyway, kick us off.
well, what are we doing today? Am I just it's
We're
not another
recapping
episode, right?
we're recapping 2025.
All
All the movies
right,
we watched in
so
2025.
welcome back to a movie unboxing with Marty and Bola. Happy New Year, and we are about to recap 2025 with our best and worst and favorite and not so favorite, and what have we talked about throughout the year?
Exactly. So, yeah, so we did about 26 movies last year. We could have did more, but
We didn't start in January though, right?
we started at the end of January.
Okay.
Yeah, on the end of January.
Yeah,
But
there was a summer break and yeah.
yeah, you were out of the country, and
Uh-huh.
sometimes
And then over the holidays too, honestly, it's always hard to kind of keep going whenever
exactly.
there's all of those
And
things.
then
So,
at first we were trying to figure out the time, like what day. We were doing it
mhm.
like on a weekday that at the time when you were tired and the time when I was tired coming home from work, and we just like let's just yeah, we were struggling on that one. So we missed a couple of those days, and then there were just other days that
Yeah.
things came up around that time. Maybe we had to shoot a movie or go for an event, and we had to
Yep.
skip. So we could have had close to I would say realistically maybe 35 or 40 episodes at least.
We watched Killers, Sinners, and Spies as a premiere on one of those Thursdays, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, we did. We gotta talk about that when it comes out. But anyway,
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think we did okay. You know, we did 26 episodes. Pretty we did a wide range of movies. We did action, well, some action, thrillers, horror, comedy, and just drama and romance, romantic dramas. So the first one we did was Back in Action. That was the Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz uh action comedy film. I
Mhm.
think if I was gonna rate my top five films that we unboxed last year, I would put that as maybe not number one, but among the best ones. What would you say about that?
Like among the best unboxings or among the best movies that we watched?
Well, I mean the movies that we watched. Yeah.
Yeah, that would not probably be in my top five, but
Really?
it was a pretty solid cookie cutter.
I've seen it about three more times after that. I love the film.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
so
because it
good.
is a feel-good movie. I get that. It's a
It
very
is,
feel-good
yeah,
movie. Yeah.
yeah. It's a feel good movie. The second one we watched was The Fall Guy. That was your choice. Ryan
Oh, I
Gosling.
did love The Fall Guy. I mean, I haven't like watched it again since because I don't really get to watch a full movie
Yeah,
usually at the end of my day, but I did very much so enjoy the movie, and that would probably fall into my top five. Here's the reason why. Not because like, oh, this is like one of the top best movies, but because it pretty much addressed what we're trying to address with this unboxing. We address the people that aren't really that seen in the foreground that have worked so hard to create the movie. We are addressing what is happening on set outside of just the stuff that, any muggle sees when they ultimately watch the movie. So I think that was a good one because of that, because it was actually showing you, look how much there is behind the scenes,
yeah.
and how the team has to perfectly work together for the fall guy to survive and all these things. So,
It was a good movie for me. Like you said, for all the points that you made, it was highlighting the people behind the scenes and putting them at the forefront for the first time. Like, don't forget about this guy, which is why in our business we always watch the credits roll to
mhm.
at least acknowledge,
Exactly, because
yeah, those
and
people
most probably like regular people,
turn it
they
up.
just and all they see after Stranger Things is that, the actress that plays Eleven and then the actor that plays Vecna maybe, and that's it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just so much more to it. There's so much more to it. There's so many people, so many extremely hardworking people that nobody sees, nobody rewards, and and most people don't read their names at the end. So stay for the credits, guys.
Yeah. And those projects will probably never get done if you don't have those people.
Exactly.
It'll be very
Exactly.
hard. So our third film was Gladiator 2. Oh, this movie, man. So
Okay, I did like our unboxing of it, but the movie was terrible and I
yeah, I
don't want to
think
watch it again.
yeah. Funny thing is, I would watch it again compared to the other movies that we've watched that I'm just like, okay, this was just horrible. If you told me to watch Gladiator 2 or some other movie, I will watch
Like
Gladiator 2. But
Spy? I know I would watch Spy. I've watched Spy probably about 10 times at this point.
we'll talk about Spy. We'll talk about Spy. But Gladiator 2 is one of my least favorite movies that we watched last year. For all the reasons, the storyline. I didn't mind the casting. I think the casting was good. Obviously, we said Denzel killed it. Denzel held the movie together.
And so that's the other thing. Like it wasn't, yeah, the story was lacking a little bit. And we also it's hard not to go in with expectation when this is a follow-up from The Gladiator. So I think it's then you get let down because you walk into with specific expectations. But it did look good.
So you're talking about the
Visually it
cinematography,
was,
the visuals.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. But to me,
So it wasn't like a complete waste of time.
to me, it was just the story. The story just it it was
Didn't
like
hold up.
it didn't hold up a lot, and they were trying to make so much connection to the first one I think I like I said, if you go watch the episode, they could have just gone into a total different direction with the story. And I think I gave them a direction they could have gone to. You know what I'm saying? So whoever
Yeah, you
uses
did.
that, if anybody uses that, I know I need the credit for that. All right, so that's one of my least favorite films from last year. The next one is Kingsman: The Secret Service.
Yes,
That's your
my favorite movie of all
that's one of your
times.
favorite. I actually enjoyed this one. I was a little skeptical when you said it. I was like, okay, let me watch this. Let's see what's up. I actually enjoyed it a little. It's not in my top five, but I actually enjoyed it. I liked Samuel Jackson's performance and the way they just made his character just look silly. You know what I'm saying? I think that role was made for him. We actually liked the lady with the blade legs, the blade. That was cool.
Yeah, she's badass. I can't remember her name, but the
Yeah.
actress is really cool too.
Yeah. So what anything you want to add to that?
No, it's just one of my favorite movies. There can't go wrong with Kingsman. I love the second one too. I'm trying to remember if there is a third one.
I don't think there's a
If I
third one,
watched it, I can't remember, but um
but we
it
got
stands on its own. You don't need the
yeah,
sequel. It
yeah.
stands
But we
on its
gotta
own.
we gotta watch the second one of these days, and compare it to the first one. The next one is another one of my favorite. Now this one's gonna be my top five, and that is The Gorge.
Blah,
I
boo.
cannot believe you said that. No, that movie was
That
so
movie
good.
was so boring and it didn't hold
No,
up.
no, that movie was so. In fact, I'm probably gonna go back and watch that. That movie was so good. Miles Teller, and what's her name? Ann Taylor, or whatever from
Anya.
Anya Taylor from that chess series on Netflix and stuff like that. But I thought the movie was good, and there was a lot of color. We talked about the color visuals of the scene,
Yeah,
especially
the
when they got into
chemistry
the
was lacking in those actors.
well,
It
okay,
was a love story and I just didn't feel it. It was awkward. The
from
guy
whose
was
part?
wooden.
The guy or the girl, but just both of them.
He was wooden. She was cute,
Hmm?
but there's no chemistry because he was wooden. So,
What? Okay. But we did like you did agree with the visuals when especially when they got into the gorge and each section of the gorge there was just different colors.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's
But
around
you
the
could
time.
use that. Yeah. Stranger Things did it better. It's true.
Things. All right, so that's the gorge.
Look at the colors in Stranger Things. You can't even
I
complain.
would give you that. But Stranger Things is a series. They have a whole 5 seasons. Was it 5 seasons to experiment and go everywhere with the colors? This was just a 1 hour and 30 something
Mm,
hour movie.
I know, but Stranger Things, the first season stands on its own. They didn't have to experiment very far. And think about this for a second. These people, that was their first real big project. They've never done anything like this before.
Yeah.
And they're like local. Did you know?
They're from Charlotte.
They're from Durham.
They're from Durham. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're pretty young. I saw the Duffer brothers or something like that. Duffy brothers. Yeah, they're pretty young. And I don't even think they're up to 40 yet. They may be they're I don't think they're 40 yet. All
I
right, so
don't
the
know their
next
ages
movie,
exactly, but I
they
think
what?
they're impressive.
You think they're impressive? Okay. All right, I'll finish Stranger Things. The next one is Nosferatus. Dun, dun, dun.
That's right, the newer one.
The
We
newer
did
one.
end up watching the Dracula as well
We
later
watched
on, the
Dracula, yeah.
original.
But
And we talked
Nosferatu,
about the parallels. So thinking back to Nosferatu now after having seen that Dracula film,
hmm,
there's a couple of things I liked about it, I think even better because of the fact that there's so many parallels that are like kind of going hand in hand with it.
hmm.
But generally the film was good. I don't have to see it again. And I don't mean that in a bad way for the film. It's just that it's like the kind of gross, kind of creepy, and I don't really like have the urge to watch that again, but the film was good.
The film
The
was
film was very
good.
good. The acting was very good.
I liked it because of the visual, the cinematography and the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
the black and white and how that just permeated the whole movie and just the way
Yeah.
color you even with the black and white you could see distinctive color movements and distinctive camera movements and stuff like that. And I think the Robert Eggers did a fantastic job with the cinematography and the
Mm-hmm.
editing. It like I've said it before, it was like a graphic novel come to life, and it was
Mm-hmm.
beautifully
Agreed.
and aesthetically done well. That's if if I have to watch it again, it will be just focusing on that, just to learn certain things. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a movie that I would want to watch. It's not one of my least favorites, but it's
It's
not
just not my genre. And
it's
again,
not
I like horror. I don't mind horror, but this is the gross kind of horror. Like it's just I don't need the visuals of things being nasty. You know what I mean?
I don't not a horror fan, but like I said, if I have to watch it again, it's just for like the directing and
And
cinematography.
again, this is sort of the point of what we're doing here, right? We are not
Mhm.
supposed to judge a film based on like, oh, well, I just didn't enjoy it. Why? Look deep. Like what about it wasn't good? What about it was good? Like we could not like it because it's not our genre, because we don't love this storyline, because that's just not right up our alley, but we still are able to and need to appreciate for what it is and what was good about it, and the work that's been put in it that came out amazing and a great art piece. We don't like any art. You don't like every art. You don't like every color probably, but that's still a pretty orange, even if
Yeah,
you don't like orange. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah. So the next one is Mary, Mother of Jesus. I was actually surprised that you liked the movie.
oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know. I figured, because the movie received a lot of criticism from everybody. So I was like, I don't know if if she's gonna even give anything
No, I
positive.
did. I liked it, and I honestly think from a feminist perspective, I liked it a lot too, because it's just it was showing, hey, gosh, Mary is so important in the story, you know, and the Bible focuses on all men, like it really does.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. When you said the feminist point of view, I never even thought about that. And it's not a feminist in a negative way that people will say, "Oh, feminist in a negative way."
Right.
It was more like, you know, what's her story like? Who is she? And all we just know is that, oh, she was just told by the angel that she would have Jesus, and she has Jesus, and then her story just after she has Jesus, and you know, she just
That's
slowly
it.
fades.
Like,
Yeah, just
yeah,
slowly.
there's no before, there's no after. So it's like she's a her own person, and I think that's really important to see that because women aren't just the vessels to carry a child, like you know what I mean. And it's so funny because it's hard because you really do once you become a mother, to most mothers, I'm sure not everyone goes through this, like, but there's like a weird transformation that happens to us, you know, and now we're just mom, not just mom, you know what I mean, but we're forever mom. Like that doesn't go away. And
Yeah,
it
but
alters your entire like
you
your
feel like
entire world, you
society
know.
today is trying to box women into that now, take you back and box you in there like you should just be a mom and don't have aspirations or careers or
See, and this is hard on both ways because we have gotten to the point where we're being criticized whichever path we take. If you're
yeah,
stay at home, oh, you're lazy and you just stay at home. But if you have a job, then you're abandoning your children all of a
children.
sudden. But you're like, but what do you mean? I was lazy if I wasn't abandoning my children. You know what I mean?
I
So,
don't,
and while this isn't real,
mhm.
society definitely is out there on this, you know?
Yeah,
So, it's a very, very hard choice. I am torn right now because I decided to take this job and I'm every day questioning my life choices, you know?
hey, it is what. But with regards to Mary, I like the fact that they gave her. She has her own opinion. She's her own person, and
Yeah,
she matters.
exactly.
They depicted her as somebody that matters in this story. And
Exactly.
that's what I like about it. So I think moving forward, you're going to see more movies or series about Bible about women from the Bible, and they're going to expand more on their character. You might see Ruth or Esther or stuff like that. They will expand more on that. So looking forward to that. The next one was Past Lives. That's the one with the South Korean lover, friends from
So
childhood.
that was an independent film, and you really do watch it differently. Like it watches differently than Hollywood films. Like
Yes.
it's a little slower.
Hmm.
It focuses more on the storytelling, kind of with just images, but
Hmm.
I did think it was very well done.
Hmm.
Um, I think that was it International Women's Month or
I don't know
that
what
we were watching that because
I'm not sure.
it's a
Maybe.
female director, female writer. We were trying to focus for a
I
little
think so. It
while.
might have been. It might have been.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So I enjoyed it for the mere fact that, like you said, it was a very indie film, and it was you can just from the moment you just start watching, you can tell this was an indie centric type of movie, art house
It
type of
feels
feel.
more raw in a
Yeah,
way, right?
it felt really raw, like you actually were witnessing what was going on.
Yeah.
Especially in the bar when the husband is
Hmm.
there
I
with his wife
remember this vividly
and
too.
and her
It's such
friend.
a
Yeah,
interesting perspective, the way it's shown,
exactly.
both camera angle and
You felt like you were sitting at that bar watching them, like, and you
hmm
were trying to figure out, like, okay, who's the third guy there, or who's this person,
right.
and you're trying to figure out. So that was a good technique by the technique and choice by the director. Um, yeah, it was a very beautiful story. I think it was a sad story, um,
Hmm.
but I think we were trying to talk about if something like this happened in real life, how would the husband feel? And I don't know if I would, I don't know. It goes both ways. I think, in
Yeah.
some hand you'd be like, if you're with me, sweetheart, then the past is the past. But then again, you don't want to, uh, you
I
know,
think no matter how hard you try to be the upstanding, supportive husband that says, I get it,
hmm,
and no matter how hard you try, it probably did hurt him because how can it not?
yeah,
But it's so real. And then again, we go back to the rawness of the whole thing. It's so real because nothing's ever black and white. Nothing's ever 100%, and I don't think you ever make a choice, be it to be with someone or to be in a job or whatever choice it is that's like a big life choice.
hmm,
I don't think you ever don't have at least a little bit of doubts
mm.
or a moment where you question it. You know what I mean? No matter what. Yeah, you could be married happily for decades. There's probably going to be a moment where you're like, "Ah, should I have gone with that guy?" Like, I don't know.
And I think,
Or again, with a job too, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have chosen this job. Maybe remember that other job that I turned down many years ago. Like, it happens. Like that's real life. And
that's
that's what
real
I
life.
like about these
That's
raw, independent things. They really, really do address the real stuff. It's not they're happily ever after, there's like, oh, but there's doubt, or oh, but there's like still pain. Oh, look, the grief never ended. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah, yeah. Got you.
it points those
You're
things out.
Yeah. All right. So let me see the time. I think. All right. The next one is Rebecca. That's the one that she was.
So I'm feeling so hazy about that one. It was crazy.
That's the
I
one with
think because
Mrs.
she was having
Danvers.
those weird dreams.
Huh?
So I'm remembering it kind of like a dream. Does that make
So
sense?
let me refresh your memory. So that's the one that, the guy's wife died, and he meets this woman at this luxury hotel in Paris. And on a whim, he marries her. They fall in love quickly, marries her, and brings her back to Mandalay, his home in England. And then they have this housekeeper, Mrs. Danvers, who is just this creepy.
Yeah, it just turns really creepy from there, and it's
Yeah,
starting to. she's starting to question whether the man killed his wife, if he's abusive, like she's starting to fear him for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, he's sleepwalking, and I mean there was a lot of like, I think to me what stood out in the movie technically was just the color also, how bright the movie starts. They're in south of France, in a resort, and everything's all bright and happy and loving and romantic. And then when they get to England and they get to Mandalay, everything starts to look a little gloomy. The colors start to dim down and it's dry. And I think it depicts what is about to happen. That this weird event of like, okay, confusion, like did he kill his wife or did she commit suicide or does he
All
love
these
her
secrets that are starting to
secret
kind of come
exactly? Does
out.
he love
Yeah.
the new wife now? And she's so terrified of Mrs. Danvers, or she doesn't even know her place. Like should she stand up for herself as the
Because he also felt, and I think that's a big deal, and that was like the job of the original rich lady that she
yeah.
traveled to France with. Her job was to put doubt in that girl's mind. And
Hmm.
so from the beginning, we are this girl, right? We have that doubt. And so he seems too good to be true
Hmm. Yeah.
at first. And
Didn't
it's just going so smoothly and so
yeah.
quickly. And it's like,
Yeah. Didn't you and I think Mrs. Danvers, that was the old lady's mother, could have been her mother? And that's why she's so like
yeah,
attached to her and so fanatical about
yeah.
the old, the first wife, that we just like, could she be the mother or something like that? But we said we're gonna read the book or maybe watch the old
The
movie and
old movie, that's right.
yeah,
I forgot about that.
yeah,
That was the
and
second
see
one.
maybe there's some clues into that one. Anyway, the next movie is Heretic, starring Hugh Grant.
Love that movie.
Good, that was a good one.
It
I
was
don't know.
visually so well done too. Like the directing, the sudden weird, like the water thing that like
Hmm.
kept like just pouring water at random, and it just always made you a little bit more unsettled, a little bit more on edge, a little
Hmm.
bit more. The suspense was great in it. And the
I
acting was incredible.
I like the way the camera would move or angle between the three of them. It was almost almost like they were like in a triangle, the two girls and Hugh Grant, and then the camera would just like go back and forth between them just to get their perspective on what was going on and stuff like that. And
I'm just realizing right now that we've had a lot of Hugh Grant. We've had a lot of Hugh Grant.
so he's in his
The
so
next
he's in the
one,
next film. He's in the next film that
yeah,
we did. He's in the next film.
yeah.
So the next one
And
is
then Love Actually, which was most recently.
yeah. So he's in the next one, which is called Four Weddings and a Funeral. Now, this movie doesn't have anything directing or anything like that
Yeah, it
going
was
on
hard to analyze it from that
at that point. But
perspective
the
because
storyline of it was more like, everybody wants this perfect wedding and but it doesn't start off that way. And there's a lot of like there's just a lot of like messiness that goes on in the wedding and stuff like that. There's awkward moments. And these things actually happen. I don't think I've ever been to a wedding where something awkward happened, but I'm sure it does happen in real life.
hmm
I think this movie just tried to depict that with the storyline that um it's possible for you to find that one at that wedding. You know what I'm saying? And it always happens in the most inopportune time and the most awkward time. And sometimes remember the two couples that met in there where she was like, "Oh, I'm not that desperate. I'm not gonna sleep with you tonight," and stuff like that. And she ends up sleeping
yeah,
with him,
they were
and then they get
literally
married. And then the
constantly
next wedding
together.
is them getting married. It's
Yep.
it's it's like love can happen in the most inopportune time and the most unexpected time and
Usually how
unexpected
it
person
happens, yeah, when you're the least ready for it,
when you're the
when you're the
least.
least waiting for it.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
When you're not looking for it, or maybe you're hoping or expecting, but you're just like, no, that's not gonna happen. Him, her, no, and then next thing you know, you're like, I don't know how we got here. We're married now and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think that was one of the biggest take of that film. Yeah. So
But also that it's not always like the happily ever after pretty type of like linear way to get there,
Hmm.
right? That it kind
Hmm.
of happens like it doesn't work out and then maybe they fall apart and then maybe they're back together. Sometimes it's like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What time we got? Yeah, let's try to see if we can shoot for 9:30 and then we'll be good. The next one is The Electric State. I'm putting this one as my least favorite.
Oh, I forgot about that film.
Oh my God.
Okay, that one felt like a waste of time, and I love both of those actors, but
I was disappointed in the main actor. What's his name again?
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. I thought he was. I'm like, why would you do this film? I don't know why. I honestly, it was hard for me to
Well,
watch that film.
sometimes you see a story on paper, you don't know what the director's going to make of it.
Well, I
I've
mean,
been in a film like that. I read the film. It could have been amazing.
I guess, but the storyline to me, I guess,
No,
I'm,
because I'm telling you, the graphic novel was good.
I
Remember,
gotta
this
see
is
the
based on a graphic novel, and it
really, I
was
didn't know that. I didn't know. I gotta see the graphic. I gotta read the graphic novel,
the
and
story was good originally. It just didn't come out this way in
it didn't
that.
come. I struggled to watch this one, but
It didn't
the special
translate.
effects were amazing. The special effects and the
That's
visual
true
effects,
visually, and again, and it had some
mm,
of the scenes that were
amazing.
straight taken out of the graphic novel with
Mhm.
like the stuff in the background that looked really, really cool. But that's it. It was just what was that, a green screen? Like that's it. And it was, oh, that's right. It was so much money, wasn't it?
It was a lot. I don't know how much it was made, but it looked like it was a lot of money.
No, it was
So
like one of the most expensive ones of Netflix of this year or something like that. It was billions. Crazy.
was a waste of money. That movie was not good at all. But let's move on to the next one. The next one is The Wolf Man. Um, that's the one that
Yes.
so the dad takes his wife and daughter back home to the
To
West
clean out
Coast.
his past
Yeah,
father's
because his father is
old
living in
house,
the
cabin
woods,
in the woods.
is like a hermit and lives in the woods alone, and he's a hunter, and he's also hunting some kind of like a beast lurking in the
Yeah, and
woods.
there's a virus going around, something like that, right?
Exactly. And in their journey back home, they encounter some kind of like a half man, half beast on the road. And, they get into an accident and in trying to save his wife and kid, he gets bitten by this thing and he
Hmm.
slowly starts to change. This was like not a very horror film, but it was very like it was like a thriller to the point of almost getting horror.
Yeah.
And
And it had a couple of really, really, really cool moments, especially when we were randomly switching to be the wolf, basically, and how the
mhm,
wolf sees things. So perspective things. It was very, very well done. I was very, very disappointed in the main actor. Basically, Wolfman himself carried the whole movie. And so that was the only thing. I didn't like the main actress. She didn't do very well.
yeah,
Um,
there was
Everything
nothing.
else though, I thought that was a great film.
I think they could have got another actress to show more emotion. Um,
Yeah,
you
she just doesn't have any range, it
Yeah,
doesn't seem.
she didn't have any range. She's popular now because of the roles that she's done. So I guess that's why they put her there. But she to me, I didn't feel her fear.
I
You know what I'm
didn't
saying?
feel it. That's
I
exactly what it is.
I
I
didn't
didn't
feel her
feel it. And
fear.
she was basically useless in the whole film.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, if they just had the daughter running from the dad as the wolf, that probably would a great movie. And then she has to figure out how to defeat her dad or
But
something.
again, like you said, I think if they had cast this differently, there's so many actresses out there that are capable of just showing a lot more of the fear and concern. She just didn't have that.
She didn't do it. Yeah,
She
she
was
didn't do it.
almost not even fully concerned about him. And it was like, you know what I mean? It was just, she was wooden.
Yeah.
It's fine. It happens.
It is,
Like,
yeah, I guess it does. The next one is Last Breath. Now, this one's based on a true story when the guy I think these are people who go underwater under they work on the rigs, the oil rigs or whatever rigs that are in the middle of the ocean, and they go down to try to make some repairs and stuff like that. And in doing that, very, very dangerous, scary job. I don't, there's no amount of money they can pay me to do that kind of job. I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
It's not going to happen. But in
You've
doing
got
it,
to have some sort of passion for that because this guy that literally clinically dies just goes right back a few weeks later.
yeah, and
Like,
there's
what?
nothing happens to him. Like his
Yeah.
wire gets cut and he runs out of oxygen and he's practically brain dead for 15 minutes, I think, right?
29, I thought it
Or
was.
something like that.
It was
Ridiculous.
it was something that is not reasonable. Like his
It's not
brain was
supposed
a
to be, yeah.
vegetable. He
And
they
he,
said they were retrieving a body at that point.
exactly. And then he survives. And not only does he come to and he's alive, he's
And
normal.
he doesn't have brain damage. He gets married the next week,
He
right?
can talk, he can walk, he can function
Yeah,
properly. He probably doesn't have any
it's
memory
great.
of what happened to him or stuff like that. That's understandable. But for the most part, he's a normal human being. He gets married the next couple of weeks and he goes right back to doing the job again, which is insane to me. But the underwater shots are what I would have loved to see how it was done. That to put the
In a
lights
very
there.
large pool in Malta, I read.
Oh, for real? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But
that must have
also, so one thing that I've noticed now in the aftermath, I don't know if we talked about it then, was when he walks off that ship
been.
and he just walks right off that ship. And nobody's there to like freaking greet him because he just died and they all thought he died. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody was just so like
Yeah,
nonchalant about it. It was
yeah, that I guess. But I was just most impressed with the underwater camera shots, and and just I wonder how what's the training that the actors and the camera people had to go through to shoot underwater. That must have been a tall task.
Yeah, I watched something about that because I was interested in that. So I watched a whole thing about that and there's like professional diver and diving instructors with them down there. And it's like a big rented pool, heated pool in Malta, so it's really warm at least and cozy in there.
It better be warm because I'm not going in there in cold water. All right, the next
Right.
one is the British spy thriller called Black Bag. I love this one. I freaking love this. Um, I love this movie. I'm a big spy thriller geek. It's a Steven Soderbergh. I think it was Steven Soderbergh that shot this. So you can just it was the style was just so Steven Soderbergh. Even though he's
Yeah, it
Hollywood
was
now,
very,
he still shoots his film like it's independent film, and it gives us a sense of realism, like you're actually
yeah.
witnessing what's going on.
But
Um,
you see the money in like the decor of the house, for example. Like you see that he's
yeah,
got money to
yeah,
invest in the set and
yeah.
everything.
But I still like the way he shoots his films. It's so indie oriented, still great. So has a little bit of like a it almost seems like it's cheap, but it's not cheap. You know what I'm saying? And it gives you a sense of realism, like you're actually there watching this unfold. There wasn't really a lot of camera angles to this thing, but just the story and the fact that this husband, they all work for the spy agency and they think his wife is working for the enemy. And now everybody's playing this cat and mouse game to try to figure out who it is. It was almost like a crime thriller.
Well, because like it's crazy when you could always have a secret mission. You can't share any details with anybody, even your spouse.
Mhm.
So how can you ever fully trust that person? And same, so like it just this it addresses the whole everybody could have a secret mission that doesn't agree with the mission that you're currently on. You
Mm,
know what I mean?
exactly. So I guess it now begs the question for the story, like, can you trust your spouse when you have to have secrets? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? I mean, even if you don't even work for an agency like that, some people are going to keep, as a spouse, you're probably going to keep some things to yourself. And it has, it's human nature. Just keep some things and, and just keep it moving. The next one is Companion. This one is the guy who buys a robot love companion doll or something like that. Um, this was I like this was well done. This was good. I really
I
like
thought it was well done because for the longest time, you're not sure what's going on. You know something's off, but
yeah,
they're not really fully telling you until the end. Not until the end, but until like the middle. And then she finds out that she's a robot with us, basically, right?
exactly. So she's and I think
And she
it
gets that existential crisis. It's really, really interesting.
it's another way of telling the Terminator story that once the computers, this AI and computers starts, would they become self-aware of themselves? You know,
Hmm.
where they get so advanced, we create them to become so advanced that one day they become self-aware of themselves and they know how much power that they have over us, and then
Hmm.
they decide to make their own decisions. And I think that's one way this movie is warning us to be
Yeah.
careful with technology. So there wasn't a
Yeah.
lot of little camera angles or anything like that, but this was more of the story and driven.
No, I think the coolest part was when she was on the iPad controlling her own intelligence and her own like knowledges and stuff, and she was
Yeah,
like changing the eye color and her eyes would just change right as she's like sliding. That was
and that
really
is
cool.
and that is her becoming so fully aware of who she is, and now she has control, and she can now make decisions. And her decision is, well, I can be more powerful than anyone, be better in everything, and so something
But
to
ultimately, like a genie, she wants freedom.
yeah, freedom to make her own decisions, which
Exactly.
as yeah. So in the Terminator movies, the robots earn their own earn freedom to make their own decisions, and which is to subjugate humans. So that's it's a scary thought. The next movie on my list is one of my
Gonna
other
happen.
favorite. What?
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, well, we're probably not gonna be alive when it happens. So future generation, you deal with it. Deal with it. You'll be fine. The next one is we're probably not gonna be able to be done with this. Maybe we'll continue this next week. But the next one is Sinners.
Sinners.
Sinners. This
Sinners was beautiful.
beautifully done, masterfully done. The
Beautiful.
visuals, the
Yep.
music,
Every single color
the
perfectly placed.
colors, the acting, the cap. I mean, the storyline. It magically just came together. I mean, this if this wasn't the best film that was released last year, it's got to be at least in the top two or three best films that was released last year. Everything about this movie worked. My favorite scene of all was in that when they were playing the music, when the guy was singing, and then the all the historical characters from music just started to appear. They're not meant to be there, but they just start to
Yeah, it's
appear.
just panning through the room and like you got all the years of
Music
music. Like
just
the whole
playing
yeah.
around, you know what I'm saying? And then the best one to me was when the Chinese lady started pop the Chinese woman and dressed in like in a geisha stuff, and she starts popping and twirling and stuff like that. I mean, that's my favorite. It was just masterfully done. It was the biggest takeaway from the film was just the color. The color, and then the just it was just the color to the way the different the way they used color in this movie was just masterfully done. I was just masterfully done. It was probably like I said, my favorite movie that came out last year, and probably and one of my favorite movies that we watched last year. What else did you take away from this film?
Yeah, for me, it was just visually absolutely gorgeous. And I mean, literally everything was thought through. I remember vividly one scene where we see one of the brothers standing in front of like the little house.
Hmm.
And it's just like you see, I don't know if it was through a window or through like a crack in the house, and you see a little bit of like red color coming out. And there's just like even that, it was like what, 2% of the screen, but the color was placed there and it was just in order to create that whole like how many percent of what color do you have?
Yeah,
And of course the brothers had the two different colors, but
colors red and blue.
yeah, but it was just like everything was perfectly and meticulously placed. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like
Yes.
everything was in its place, even like the little teeny tiny details of colors and
That's yeah.
not just colors, but everything. And the
Yeah.
music.
The music,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty done. The storyline, pretty everything was just perfect about this film. I think we only got time for one more. Um, and the next one is Lesson Plan. This was your
Oh, the Polish
homage.
film. So that was the summer break. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
this is your homage to your homeland. It was an
So yeah,
action.
so I didn't know. I am not up to date on what like Polish movies are out and popular and all that stuff. And it's hard for me because a lot of our films address cultural things that are going to be really hard to translate and talk about whenever you have no idea about the culture. So maybe like in Sinners, there's probably a couple of things lost on me because I'm not American and I didn't learn about as much about that history as I did learn about Nazis and stuff, you know.
Mhm.
But so I just grabbed whatever I saw was also available for the both of us on Netflix and everything, and just to see. So I was generally very happy and impressed with how good Polish film has become, you know, level wise, just basically just cinematography wise,
Mhm.
and all that stuff. The story wasn't very original, and I've heard it before and I've seen it before, but I did think it was very cool to see, and it was very cool to talk about something that's like from my home. But you know, there's films that would be very, very cool to talk about, but again, that I think like even in the story, it would be very, very lost for anybody who's never been to Poland, who's never been around Polish traditions and culture and stuff like that.
I now that you mentioned it, it seems parallel to like Nigerian movies. I don't really watch a lot of Nigerian movies, but I've seen some and they have improved over the years. There's
Hmm.
the money spent on it, the cinematography, even the directing and stuff like that. I still have a problem with some of the storylines and the acting and stuff like that, but in budget wise and in tech aesthetic wise they've improved, and I think you're speaking the same thing with Polish movies that maybe when you were growing up it wasn't really like it wasn't really something that you would go out of your way
It
to
wasn't
watch.
Hollywood.
It wasn't Hollywood, exactly. But over the years, uh, the aesthetics have improved. The production value has greatly improved. It's Polish film industry is still a growing industry. Maybe the acting and the storylines are not, you know, like I said, that storyline is just something I've seen so many
Well,
times.
it's hard to judge acting too whenever you have it dubbed and translated, you know.
Okay, yeah,
Whenever the
yeah,
actors originally were delivering their lines in Polish,
mm,
it might have been where the acting quality was actually far superior to what it
yes,
comes across as when you also have to fit the English version on top
yes,
of it, you know.
yes. So that's true too. That's true. So yeah. I enjoyed the film, even though it was a storyline that I've seen before. I think they brought their own twist to it. They added a couple of things to make it their own storyline and their own film. And it was really a typical European action film, and I enjoyed it. It was it was a good film to watch. And I think that's it we're going to be able to do today, you know what I'm saying? Because it's getting late.
Are we like halfway?
Now we got
Eight more?
eight more films.
Yeah. You think we're gonna go too long?
It probably will go a little long.
Okay.
Uh, let's recap that for let's cop that for next time. Maybe before we unbox our next week film, we just quickly go through these ones and then we'll go into our film, or maybe
Okay.
after. Yeah. So for next week, we are going to unbox. See, now that you mentioned you went so hard on indie films, and when we were talking about past lives, I'm kind of like torn because I'm like, there's this indie film I just saw on Amazon, and it's so freaking good. But I'm like, man, I wanted to watch something on Apple TV. Um,
There's two films that I really want to talk about. One of them I haven't seen yet. One of them because we actually, and I cannot believe that we haven't, considering that we are talking about the form, work art form,
hmm,
right? the art form as its own, saying that it's a work of art and people specific have specific ways to aesthetically make something, to how much work has been put into visually doing stuff. I cannot believe that we have not spoken about a Wes Anderson movie yet.
Okay, well, let's go with the West End of the movie. I think I know what you're going with. The the
Phoenician
one.
Scheme.
Let's go with that one. I see this on Amazon Prime. So that's your. So we're starting off this year with you making the first choice.
All
And what's
right.
the name of the movie that we're
I
watching?
didn't mean to do that. I hijacked
Hey,
or something, but I just saw it the other day and I'm like, I haven't seen it yet. I started that day, but I haven't seen it yet. And I'm just like, the way how he uniquely makes films happen,
hmm,
we have to at one point talk about it. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because there's
Well,
so much going on with him.
we're talking about it next week because I keep seeing it all the time, and I know you mentioned it sometime last year, and I said like we're
It
gonna have to
wasn't
touch on
out
it.
yet, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't out
There's
yet at the time.
so much. The cast is just incredible. I can't believe the cast.
We're
Like
gonna talk.
even the background characters are like huge actors. I don't know how he did
I don't know
that.
how he does that. They can't be taking their original pay rate for that. But I think that just because he's a great filmmaker, that everybody wants to work with him, so they're willing to,
Yeah,
And I think,
because
yeah,
it's like a he still makes art the way Dracula was, you know? He still makes there was a scene that I saw in the trailer that made me think of the that Dracula movie. It was the
okay,
same way, the way it's just still like every set is like a stage and everything is like so meticulously thought through. So I think even though he's a little crazy, I think this is well worth talking about it.
okay, we're gonna do it then. So for Marty's choice, first choice of the year, 2026, The Phoenician, starring Benicio del Toro, made by Wes Anderson. That's gonna be our film for next week. So everybody, go watch that film if you haven't watched it, and let us know what you
So
think
you can
about.
talk with us about it.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think about our today's episode. We weren't able to go down all of our the films that we did last year, but we thank you for those who have been rocking with us. We're gonna get a lot better this year. I feel it in my heart. We're gonna get big. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave comments. And we will see you guys next week. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New